To a lot of people, women having rights
doesn't make a lot of sense.
To me, what doesn't make sense is when you take a cartoon show and make it overly mature for no reason other than you want to grow up with the audience. We're growing up with them! Let's be real, that's not the reason why you're doing it. You're in it because you want to take a cartoon show that was originally meant for kids, make it mature because you think it's cool and edgy. It's not, okay? I personally don't like that excuse because to me, it just feels like they're taking away the heart of what the show originally meant, right? Let's take Adventure Time, for example, right? Which I have some criticism of it already, the original series. I think the ending was a little rushed, and I don't think it was as good as it could have been. I still liked it. It was still a little, not my cup of tea, right? But it went from this kid going on adventures and all having fun with his dog and all stuff to being, in the 2 sequel series, a little bit of goriness over, I think, sexualization of certain characters and all this weird stuff that I'm personally not a fan of. Like the Fiona and Cake series, for example. Like, did you really have to add all the blood and all like the sexual innuendos and the swearing and the cursing? You could have just made the show without any of that. There was literally no need to have cursing, blood, or swearing in the show. Now, granted, you can add like a little bit of trickle of blood or like a cut, whatever, that's fine, right? But when you're adding like full-on like gallons of blood or weird stuff like that, that's when I'm like, why? Granted, that's not a constant throughout the entire thing, right? But it feels more like Adventure Time fanfiction than it does like a sequel series. It feels not the original. Again, not every scene has this, mind you. But it's like having a friend that's totally nice, kind, and sweet, never curses, never swears, just genuinely awesome, and then suddenly they start cursing and swearing and does weird stuff and sexual innuendos, and you're like, buddy, why are you doing this? And it's like, I'm trying to be more mature. That's not being mature, that's trying to change yourself for people that I don't think you should change for. And I want to make this clear, there is a big difference between a human making a mistake and a cartoon show making a mistake, right? But with that being said, I want the shows I grew up with to be the shows I grew up with. And you might be saying, oh, just watch the reruns. That's fine. But when you change a character in a sequel series and say it's canon because it's for a mature audience, it kind of ruins the original show. Because these are characters that you grew up with, suddenly now cursing, being weird, and being all like sexual innuendos. It's like, no. I want the old show to grow up, sure, but I don't want you to suddenly become inappropriate and stuff that I can't show my kids. Like, I'm a grown-up, like I said, and I want the show to be a better version of the show I grew up with and not be all, like, inappropriate. Am I making sense? But let me know in the comments down below. Am I right? Am I wrong? If you agree, why? And if you disagree, also why? Because it's not just Adventure Time. I feel like it's just a whole bunch of shows being weird and perverted for no reason, and I don't like that. I want the shows to be like the shows I grew up with, but better. And I don't think you have to be mature with humor that's inappropriate and just like all this weird stuff. I don't want that in my shows. My sequel series, my whatever, spin-offs, whatever. I want it to be like the shows I grew up with, to show my kids in the future.